Moving back to the previous problems, now I'll be tackling again the gearbox in order to take out the engine. Because from the bodywork I'm almost complete, I just needed to take out some more wiring, and now I'll be taking out the gearbox from the engine and separating the wheels from the subframe. And that's the starting point for now. I will be taking the gearbox off this part, so I can take the engine off afterwards. So this is the clutch. We have a problem with the flywheel here. Several markings of wear, which are very uneven, as you can see, from here to here. And this is a bit way too eaten out, even on this side. This side has no marks as grievous as these two, so the flywheel is unbalanced. Therefore, I need to check the crank for this one, because there might be some excessive wear to it. So I've taken the flywheel out now and I've placed them here for you to see. Basically, the problem lies solely on the flywheel. Flywheel is warped, badly warped, and damaged the clutch itself and the pressure plate. Mostly the clutch, but the pressure plate has suffered slippage, as I will show you. And it's just a small problem which resided in some years ago, where a small accident happened. The clutch blew up and they changed the clutch, but I think the flywheel wasn't changed or balanced, so I'm not sure about that. But after just 2 years, you do not expect a clutch to be fully worn out in this way. I will show you here. You can clearly see the marks from here to here. It's showing signs of slippage. This is not any way, shape or form good as a flywheel. This is about as good as it gets, which there's nothing good about it. The clutch, from here to here to here, you'll feel 3 different layers. Let me show. If you can see here, there is a dark line and another dark one here, and a slightly dark one from the inner side, and it's wavy on this part. So this one's the less burnt area. This one's highly burnt. Literally, it's got a bit peeled off. Here we have flickers of it, damages on the edges, and if you can see on the pressure plate as well, you can see a high effect of slippage. Let me see if I can find the markings here. But it's just a waste to see a clutch like this being thrown out, but there's nothing I can do. It's all because of a bad flywheel. Now I will be replacing this one and also the clutch. And from here on out, you can see leaks in the oil seals. mostly due to high heat. Now I'll be taking the studs out. This will be an old-fashioned way. Just put two bolts facing each other, locking them up together, and then I'll just prise them out one by one. Next step, I will be splitting the engine from here. There are several bolts, and the crankcase will be pulled out, and for you to see, I can analyze the lower part of it. As you can see, no special tools required, just some common sense, some old techniques. So until I'll finish this, and we'll see what happens next underneath the engine. As you can see, I've pulled out the majority of them. Only two are left. This one, I'll show you. This one over here. As you can see over this part, it was all rusted and it would not budge. But I managed to pull that one out, but this one, as you can see, sheared right off. I tried various techniques. I used this one as the final resort and it snapped it off. Now I need to take this one off, as I was previously mentioning before. Now it's its turn. I'll take also off the engine mounts on the side. Show you this side. Mounts over here. I'll just take the engine out completely, flip it, take the bolts from here, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3 on the other side. And after I'll take those out, I would split this part from this part, and when I have this one out, I'll have the crank out in the open, and you will see the layout on how the pistons are set up from below. It's pretty basic. Basically, you have the crank with the main shaft bearings lying there, and I will take those apart. First, I will show you here. This is what remains from the Allen bolt that used to look like this. I've been slowly cutting through. Here we can see the rest of the bolt, which is left and still inside there. I am cutting my way through the other ones. This one and this one. It's a very, very slow process. You need to change the drill bit. I've started from a 5 onto a 6 onto a 7 to a 8, and now this is an 8.5. The diameter of the bolt is an 8. Here, the diameter is of an 8. The 8 could not penetrate that well, so I tried the 8.5 in order to be in line from the bolt to the bit, and the drill piece cuts through the head and separated the head from the rest of its body. I've cut it through the neck over here, and I'm left with the bolt clearly visible. So when I pull out the pump, I would still have me at least 7mm left of bolt, so I could grab it with a set of pliers, and I'll just prise them out slowly. So the next one is this one, and on to the last one down here. Now I finally managed to cut through all of them, all three. Now, as I will show you here, this is one of them. Now, with practice, one improves, and the first one shows slight damage. One second here. Shows slight damage over here, just a bit too much. The second one, I just grazed it. The third one is absolutely perfect. Nothing has been hit, no side of the walls. So as you can see, practice makes perfect. You can either buy a drill bit which does not spin from left to right, like so. It spins from right to left. It turns this side, not this side. So with that, it would help you while you're drilling. It could help you loosen it off, and it would come out slowly. Like I've mentioned before, in order for this to be cut, you start with a 5 in order to give it away, and then with the 6 to start cutting through. You need to go to 6 to meet the other end, and then the 7 to widen it up slowly, 8, and the 8 should have cut through, but it didn't in this case, and I put the 8.5. So the 8.5, you've cut through the neck here, and it would come off like so, as you can see. Obviously, since I was not holding it straight, it cut a bit more on one end than the other, but that is acceptable in this case because it's cut through the housing. Now, oopsie daisy, more oil. So you can see now it's clearly visible, and it comes out as if you're cutting through butter. This one's still a bit tight, and this one's easy. The reason why I had to do this, remember, it was all rusted in the head, so I couldn't get it with the Allen bits. So I've cut through, as you can see, the drill bit cuts through its head like so, and you get it nice and clean. Now here we have the block, and as you can see, no damage is affected on the block. That's why, even though there may be slight damage here, it's irrelevant at this point. So long as I have not touched here these parts of the block, no damage there, so no problem anywhere. Here are the drives and gears. As you can see, this is the oil pump itself. Let me show you how it works. It has a planet and a sun, which rotates. In this case, it rotates clockwise. So it's rotating like so, clockwise in this direction, from here to here. So we will see it in an anti-clockwise moment. So you spin it slowly, and the mechanism inside so here we have a worn out lip seal. A lip seal, for those who do not know, is a mix of both. You have, let's see if I can show you from outside. Here we have the lip, which comes the shape of a, let's see if I can draw it like so. So the lip seal is drawn like this, and then you have the dust part. So the shaft rotates from here to here, Now the shaft, this being the shaft, will have the lip seal which will retract from oil to go to the outside, and this is the dust cover from dust going on the inside. So you see, normally when you have a lip seal like so, it has this spring on it which holds it nice and tight onto the shaft, and it sits. Let's see, usually the lip seal always shows you where it sits. So as you can see here, this little line over here shows you where the lip seal sits, because it's just a small fraction on one single point. As you can see, that's why it's in the shape of a isosceles triangle, and it sits on just that part, not a whole, like an O-ring like this one. An O-ring, it widens. It has a slight tip here as well, but the tip gets squished, so the area grows a slightly bit more. But with the lip seal you have always that little lip, and the shaft rotates. They use it always on rotating parts, because an O-ring only does it protects the housing, because it sits in a sort of gully and it locks itself in there from two parts from leaking either outwards or inwards. So now I'll assemble this for now back, and we will get this to her later, and I will show you more detail. So not to lose anything, put them back in their order. I will clean them thoroughly and see if this oil pump is producing enough pressure. Notice them usually by just checking the teeth from the gears, because if you have a little amount of clearance on the gears, that would show you signs of leak. And on this end, now I will be taking the engine from the sides, from here, and just lifting it up, taking it apart from the middle section here. I'll show you, there are bolts on this side here. We'll take those off, and the engine supposedly should split easily. Now I'll just clean here and remove these, and I will show you the next section a bit further on.